Everybody, welcome back. This is my first Ashes of Creation video. For all of you returning subscribers, yes, I mentioned doing some new content on the channel, Ashes of Creation. If you're not familiar with the game, we'll be doing more videos on that in the future. There's a lot of content out there, but it's one of the most anticipated MMORPGs in quite some time. I won't get into that. What I want to talk about, though, is the Gathering versus PvP developer discussion. One of the great things about this game and the developer group is that it's being funded and led by a gamer who loves the MMO genre, is very interested in taking all of the good things from all the other MMOs and putting it in this and taking the bad, or at least some of the bad, and getting rid of them. So what they do is they have a transparent development discussion, and part of that is they post on the forums, which is what I've got shown up over here. And about every month they ask a question. It's like a reverse Q&A. And in this particular one, which came out about 5 days ago from the time I'm publishing this video, is the developers are asking the community your thoughts on gathering versus PvP, or gathering while you're PvPing, or PvPing while you're because there's a combat system I'm going to show you in this game. This is the first part that you need to understand. So there's also a great tool, the wiki for Ashes. So basically there's three ways to get, I mean, you're just running around throughout the world. You might not be attacked, but there's a way to have open world PvP, and that's what they're looking at. Now, don't be scared if you're someone who's like, I'm not interested. They've got fail safes for it that they've got planned, and they're also asking us for their contribution, our thoughts, that what we think here. So a non-combatant, you know, fights someone else who's not a combatant, you become a combatant. You fight a combatant, you become a combatant. If a non-combatant attacks a corrupted, and I'll get more to that in a second, you become a non-combatant. So basically, as a non-combatant, you're fine. The only thing you're going to become is a combatant, worst case scenario. When a combatant attacks a non-combatant, they become corrupted. And then the rest is basically the same. Combatant, corrupted. And then corrupted is always staying corrupted. Now, so the key to understand here is what is corrupted. Basically, the long and short of what corrupted is you become sort of a target for everyone else. And as you become more and more corrupted by attacking, say, non-combatants, you will become, or a combatant or another corrupted. You increase this, I'll say, it's almost like a debuff for anybody who's played a game like that, where it's like your strength becomes weaker and you drop more and more mats, to the point where at some point, did I say drop mats? I did. So we'll get into that in a second too. To the point where if you keep doing that, there is such a diminishing return on it that you might not be able to kill somebody who's a lower level than you. And the idea behind this is they want to avoid griefing. Fantastic idea in my opinion. I absolutely love it, because you know, we all see those people all over the place. Now, and again, I mentioned you can drop mats. Now, not just as a corrupted person can you drop mats, but apparently right now, even as a non-combatant or a combatant, you also could drop mats, which in my mind could be really infuriating if you are, say, a primer in an RPG. Some people just like to gather. They just like to provide wood or stone or leather, or, you know, maybe animals for, you know, a certain type of crafting of different type of breeding for animals. So if you drop those when you're just minding your own business as you're like gathering flowers, that's going to infuriate a lot of people, and I could see drive some people from the game. So I like that they actually asked this question of the community. So I wanted to talk about that first, let you understand that was what it is. Now, again, this is being developed by Intrepid. So I like what they're doing with the studio, or what they're doing with the game here. One of the specific question here is, Glorious Ashes community, it's time for another dev discussion. Dev discussion topics are the kind of reverse Q&A, like I mentioned. Rather than you asking us questions about Ashes, we want to ask you what your thoughts are. Our design team has compiled a list of burning questions we'd love to get your feedback on regarding gameplay, your past MMO experiences, and more. Join the dev discussions, etc. So that was what I was talking about earlier. This particular dev discussion, gathering and PvP. Artisan gatherers will be prime targets for combatant players. That's, like I said, somebody out gathering flowers or wood or stone or whatever. Somebody who wants to attack, grief, whatever, steal your stuff, which is part of the RPG. I don't have some problem with that, because we're replicating part of the world here, right? We're role playing. These gatherers will be targets. With that said, what tools or activities would gatherers like to see to help protect their hard-earned materials while adventuring in Vera. Obviously, that's the world we're going to be in. Keep an eye out for the next dev discussion. Now, they had a couple edits here. Hello, all. We made an edit to the original prompt to provide a simple clarification. The question isn't in any way, shape, or form introducing changes that, to their core pillars of gameplay. To see their current plans, they have a link. And then they say there's a second edit that they said, I've made a second edit to the prompt. This time I've changed more of the prompt's original wording. I highly encourage everyone to reread the prompt above as it has changed the nature of your feedback. We hope to, and then basically you can come through here. So I highly recommend, I'll put the link to the forum in the description below if you want to go put this. So now the question is, like I said, corruption makes it risky. You know, this, like I said, when you get in here and you get corrupted, it makes it risky for you to keep going around and griefing these gatherers. There's going to be some other in-game PvP, right? Like, so do you have to, as a PvP, I don't want to call you a griefer, but someone who goes around PvPing a lot or looking for that PvP bug to scratch that itch, why isn't the other gameplay enough for them? Why isn't it? Why?
Well, because he thought it was good sport. Because some men aren't looking for anything logical. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
There are going to be people out like that out there. So no matter how corrupted they get, they will still go after these gatherers. So I like to think about, now originally this was sort of a, like I said, they changed the aspect of the question. I like that they changed it, or at least that how I'm now reading it is to help protect the hard-earned materials, because that is part of what I want to talk about in this video, is this solution. What are we looking for here? All right, so I've got a couple things that I'd like to talk about. So the first solution, or one of them that I want to say in here, is that the gatherers cannot be attacked while in the process of gathering. Minor, but if you're chopping down a tree, you're putting your pickaxe to a rock, you're actually in the process of picking up a flower, you cannot be engaged. All right, because you know you're not prepared, you might not be looking, whatever. I think that's something where it's like let's just leave that, you know, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever the duration of that process, let's leave it alone. The next one, if you are not flagged as a combatant, right, you're just a non-combatant doing your thing, then you cannot drop mats. You can't. Someone can kill you and hit you all day long, but you will never drop your mats. Not half your mats, none, 0 mats. Because why? It would be annoying AF, right? I don't want to be dropping any of my mats if that happens, and I don't think that someone should be hunting for that necessarily. Now again, that's a potential solution. I'm not sure that I really like that one, but it's definitely a potential. I don't think it's going to lean into the risk reward that Ashes have in it, so we're going to touch on what I think the good balance could be on the last top. Part of the reason I say that as well is I could see clans of griefers coming out where they maybe don't get too corrupt. You get 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people are like, we're the clan of griefers and we're gonna go out and steal everybody's stuff. We're like land pirates. And so they'll have a, you know, Bobby, you go attack that guy. All right, now Jimmy, it's your turn. You know, Susie, now you go get them. And they just get it to the point where they take all of your mats and they don't ever get individually weak, and they just bring it back to their, you know, stronghold or whatever they might have to store these mats, and they put it in there, and you as the gatherer are toast. Are you going to be able to go gather? Are you going to need an armed group to come with you to protect you? You might need to if that's the case. So that's why I sort of lean into this last one. If someone attacks you, maybe you have a sort of a shield for a minute or some sort of like indication they're going to attack you, and they're not, at least while you're in like gathering mode or something. Maybe that's what it needs, is a gathering mode. But it lets you know that you are being attacked. And maybe it's only like a 3 to 5 second thing that can happen before any HP starts to drop. Between those 3 to 5 seconds, you have the ability to decide if you want to engage back or run. So that way you're not jumped by somebody, you can quickly maybe mount and get the heck out of there and just run. Because maybe that's a thing, you know, risk reward, real life. I don't know. Could you really run away that quickly? No, but I mean, it's an MMO. Come on, guys. Let's expand the mind a little bit. We've got dragons in this thing, right? So, but if you do engage, then you have a chance to earn more mats from defeating the other person than if they were the initial attacker. And it's, again, leaning that risk reward. So what I mean by that is if you're just someone going to, you know, grief somebody because they're gathering, you are risking that they might attack you back. Now, if they attack you back, and they win, they will take a bunch of your mats immediately. Now, if they attack you back and you beat them, they drop not as many. So as the attacker, you've really got to think about this risk, saying, no, if I lose, I'm going to lose more than what I would gain. Do I really want to attack this person? Do I really want that? And as the person who's defending or gathering, do I really want to sit here and engage this person? Well, maybe I do. You know what? Maybe you're coming at me. Let's go, right? And both person has a little bit of risk reward. Both people, like, you've got to think about before you go out and gathering in the world. You've got to think about before you go attack somebody in the world that's gathering. But again, I still worry about what's going to happen if there's a clan of griefers, because I do think that's going to happen. Will that spawn? I mean, this game is supposed to be a sand park, which another video. I'll talk about what that is if you don't know. But in this game, it's meant for the community to start evolving the game a little bit. So maybe that is something that people RPG is a little bit, and it could be fun. I don't know. But, you know, a lot of people talk about MMOs, games, all that sort of thing. The one thing I will say from my experience in MMOs, PvE will be the thing that keeps people around in this game the longest. PvP's fun, it's cool, all those things, but it is typically contentious and ends to be a big factor for games not doing well or folding or people leaving. You got to have it, but what's the right balance? And I think that's what Intrepid's trying to figure out. So, having said that, once again, go over to this forum. The link is in the description below. I hope that you're interested in some Ashes of Creation content from me. If not, I still love you. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And anybody who's looking for Ashes content in the future, I will be doing some. And hopefully that content is something you find useful. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.